So weird to be home. Aw. Home and playing Stream Raiders. That's alright. Yeah, your mom's normally working all weekend, right? I appreciate it, though. Oh, we did it. Shay with 17 kills. The Joe with 10 assists. We have 3 winners, 6 gold for everyone. Citaro with 1 saint. Beauty Rose with 50 gold. And Mikey Wakey with 1 centurion. Let's continue. Maybe. Yeah, 30 minutes on the next battle. It's down if you want. Every 5th weekend off. Oh, awesome. That makes sense.
Nothing's hard, everything is easy with you.
I'll whip her so she can save some time. Plus, she has someone with her. Yeah, makes sense.
Everything is easy when you come around. Hold on now.
Fine, so you're free to stitch. Ah, that makes sense too.
Meeting you in a dream, thinking that's the love of my life. Most handsome man I'd ever seen. I said you must be the love of my life.
It's awesome that you go though.
Hold on now. Nothing's hard, everything is easy with you around. No bombars, everything is easy when you come around. Hold on now. Don't let go. Don't let go of me. Don't let go. Don't let go. Nothing's hard, everything is easy with you around. No bombars, everything is easy when you come around. Hold on now. Hold on
I don't think we're actually.
now.
Follow me out down to the bay. Forget all the worries when you're with me. Let every wave gently kiss away some of the hardness from those brief yet gloomy days.
We got about another 3-ish hours on stream.
We're so blessed to
This week, I'm struggling with stitches. I should probably make sure to put all my floss away after each Saturday, but it's me. What's the fun in that?
as we let go. No illusions, nor standing still.
Maybe I will. You never know.
Will never cease to thrill. We give you our best.
Probably. No, I think honestly what happened was it's one that Buttons ruined like 2 weeks ago, if you remember, or a couple weeks ago, and I just didn't replace, or I don't know, I lost it. You never know. I don't know.
Like feathers in the wind, we dance along. No virtue acting strong.
I mean, the other day, Thursday, Buttons did try running off with a thing of yarn.
We're so blessed.
So there's that.
Anchor our hearts and give us a fresh start.
But he would only play with it. He wouldn't, like, purposely ruin it. Or, like, he wouldn't play with it. I'm sorry. He would just carry it around.
We give you our best. We're so blessed to have you.
I'd rather not have to re-cake up a thing of yarn. It is lace weight.
Come to the water where you will find peace. Take a step into the river. Get down on your knees. Come to the mountain while taking in the view. You will find that life is greater than you knew. When you go through the storm, I will hold you, keep you warm. When you stay in the night, I will shelter, I will fight, I will fight.
Wow, that took effort right there.
You're broken and you're shattered at the point of no return. You pick up the pieces and you let the bridges burn. So come to the water, you're sailing with the breeze. Take a step into the river where you will find peace. When you go through the storm, I will hold you, keep you warm. When you stay in the night, I will shelter, I will fight. Oh yeah, I will fight. When you go through the storm, I will hold you, keep you warm. When you stay in the night, I will shelter, I will fight, I will fight. I will fight. So come to the water where you will find Take a step into the river and get down on your knees.
Could have just enough to finish off the last two stitches after that. Why is pieces of wood that make a shape so expensive? Because they have to either cut it specific or bend it specific. That is why. Wait, what are you looking at? I need details. I mean, they can, but will they? No. No, they won't. That was horrifying. Oh, yeah, I get that. Totally a mood. Yeah, I get it.
So I think I'll stay for as long as I can. Sure could use a word of advice. Just see things clearly. Now wouldn't that be nice? Dear ocean, won't you talk to me?
I do get it. Like, yeah.
And say, what are you waiting for? When life isn't open.
I don't believe that I can't find one color. It's probably more than one, but I'm just focusing on that one color because I need it and I don't have it and it irritates me. I mean, honestly, then there's the color that I seem to not be able to find in store.
It would never get easier than this. It would never be more difficult to miss. So what
I'll find it though. Don't worry, I'll find it. Might have to just order.
Life's an open door.
Fennel and Fiber, hello, how are you? I hope all's well in your corner of the world.
Sing, won't you sing?
Welcome on in. I don't know why my alert didn't go up. My alerts are
Sing for me.
broken or something, I don't know.
Stay the night.
I thought you were too. I don't know, Twitch be twitchy like that. We all know that.
Walk through the rain with me. Get soaked to the skin, feel free. Shut
Yeah, couldn't find. Yeah, it's insane. Like the most random colors, like white, ecru, and black are normally the ones that are all sold out all the time, or they have an overabundance because they're popular. But this is getting ridiculous with some of these random colors. I remember when cross stitch wasn't as popular. Remember that? I mean, crafting in general, but you know. Yeah, like that's how Michael's was the other day when I stopped. I'm like, what? Like they had colors, but not enough. Pick up your cross stitch again. I know, right? Like that's a mood. Like it's a good mood, but at the same time, it's like, ugh. I was so very grateful when somebody's like, "Hey, look, my mom gave me all this floss and stuff, but I don't cross stitch. Would you like it?" Yes, I'll take it. What do you want for it? Yeah, they just sent it to me. 43 cents. Yes. Yeah, now it's like what, 67 cents in stores, something like that. Like, DMC, come on. Like, I get it though. I do. But the least they can do is supply us with all the colors in every store. Oh, really? Oh my gosh. That's expensive. Jody, how much is DMC floss there? Yeah, it's insane. Oh, I don't blame you. I don't blame you. But still, Jody, that seems so expensive. Jody, is there any colors you desperately need? Because then can't get... Yeah. You would think, right? Like, I find that insane. Like, how is it cheaper? Yes. 27 this year. So far. Don't ask me how, because I have no idea. Most of them were commissions, though. And it might go up again before Wednesday. So much cheaper by the time... Yeah. Getting a load from Lovecraft. I don't blame you. I mean, at least the Amazon ones got you going, right? Aw, that stinks. Is there anything we can do to help you get out of that slump? Because we will help you. Aw, that's so sad. I'm so sorry to hear that. Right? You can do it. Jack, what are you doing up here? Jack, you never come up. I mean, I keep saying that, but she's always up here anyway. A lot of times. Biggest problem is not grabbing knitting in your downtime. Yeah. Scrolling less, crafting more. Right? I know a lot of people that say that. So easy to sit there and scroll on any social media instead. There's nothing over here, Jack. Doom scrolling and being stuck in an endless cycle of that, and the motivation to pick up something else. Yep. Something isn't. Hi, Jack. I'm not even eating my food because I'm not really hungry. What is up with the cats today? Like, Jack is coming over now. Baby girl, talk to your child. Because look at her. Like, fine, I'm going. I know what it is. Is Snap's still over there? That's what it is. She wants to sleep right there on the table. She thinks you will. Oh. Yes. Gotta delete TikTok for your mental health? Yeah. Oh, it's horrible. It really is. Like, you would think the crafting community on any social media would be a chill place. No! Let me tell you. It is not. Like, now there's this huge thing going on again. I don't know. Anybody remember? Hi, Amanda. How's it going? Hope all's well in your corner of the world. I appreciate that, Lurk. Oh, of course. I do chill out in your stream a lot. I just normally don't talk much because I'm busy. Like yesterday, I think I dropped in and then I finished project number 27. Right, number 27 was the White Queen, so we got the Sister Queens done. So the White Queen. I might trim her hair, I'm not sure. Kind of like it long. And we got some hydrate and some eating. So I kind of hyper focused on that, which worked. I don't know, everybody remember that whole Katie did thing last year? Right, where people were calling her out and saying that she was stealing patterns and stuff, right? Well, something big's happening again, and I really don't know what it is, but yeah. Enjoy that Lurk. I haven't really been keeping up with it this time, but yeah. What I understand is somebody's been promising stuff and not shipping it within, you know, stuff like that. Like, I know I have a couple things that I'm getting out right now, but like, yeah. It's insane. Or like, somebody's stuff isn't exactly what it's supposed to be. I think it's more that. Yeah. Yeah. Like, I know my Amazon shop, I could update it, but I have a lot of events coming up, so it's like, yeah.
And as long as the stars are shining above us, then I just wanna be where you are.
Hey, such, yeah, exactly.
I don't wanna close my
Yeah, others, I'll ship it when I ship.
then I might miss a moment of you.
That one out. I don't think this one's out.
And as long as the sun shines
I have one more thing that's almost done, then I'm doing a bulk ship. Because it's easier. On me, not the post office. Oh yeah, some are not. Some are horrible. Like, I remember when Hubbers and I got married, I ordered a custom wedding dress, right? And all of a sudden, the person's shop went down. Like, I ordered the dress over a year ahead of time, right? Or, no, just about a year ahead of time, right? And I ordered it, I paid in full, and gave all my, like, whatever, my sizes, right? Right? Like, all this stuff. The dress came in less than a week before the wedding. No apology, nothing. I even messaged her multiple times. And then the dress was awful, like, large on me. Like, if I gave you exact measurements, how's it this big? I didn't even adjust it, I just went with it. I probably would have done something different if I had to do it over again, because yeah. I was definitely not happy with it. Pre-orders are a lot more, wow, a lot more forgiving. But I can't English today. English is hard. But yeah, I couldn't even leave a review because I ordered it so far ahead. 500 orders in 3 days. Oh my gosh, that's a lot. That's awesome though. Congrats. Little Drummer Witch, hello and thank you for the alert. I do appreciate it. We are heading towards 400 stitches. This color only has 77 more. We will finish this color. Are you serious? That's horrible. They had her do the pre-order, so if it took 10 days to get to them, people would understand. Yeah. Without a doubt. A lot of orders, though. How exciting. That's rude of that person, though. And I guarantee that it's because they did not read the description. Oh, we got 63 units on the battlefield. Not bad, everybody. Yeah, they don't want to take blame. That's exactly what it is. Alright, battle. Thank you so much, everybody. Putting down even one unit.
I can't trust it being real, so I keep on wondering until I feel that you're alive. Where are you?
Like, I had that happen when I first started selling, like, baby quilts. People were like, oh, it's not a real quilt, it's not big enough, and I'm, like, commenting back, I'm like, the dimensions are not only in the description, also in the title. And I would verbally say, learn to read. Oh, we got Bonijo with 14 kills and 29 assists. Awesome job. 3 winners, 7 gold for everyone. Kitty Lep with 50 gold. Beauty Rose with 2 monks. And Daisy with 2 bombers. Awesome job. Of the melee unit. That took. Continue. We got 30 minutes on this next battle. It's down a few. A fog machine. I thought that said egg. It's a fog machine. That was my mistake.
When I'll be coming home, then I'll be at your door.
Oh, that would be funny if it was an egg machine. Could you imagine, like, throwing egg?
I plan to let you know the longing of my heart, the wish I carry high whenever we're apart. It takes me through the night when I look deep into your eyes. When I look deep into your eyes, when I'll be coming
I forgot to put the needle.
and I am on my way, when I'll be coming home, I wanna see
You order custom stuff, like to send a message beforehand. This way we both can be on the same page. Yes.
I'm followed by your light.
And that makes sense.
Whenever we're apart, it takes me through the night when I look deep into your
Not sure if that's the right spot, but we're gonna go with it.
oh, when I look deep into your eyes.
I once had somebody order, when I was on Etsy, they ordered one of the chicken quilts. Except they didn't put, like, anything in the box for colors. So I message them, and they're like, oh, whatever you think will look good. I'm like, don't do this. Like, just don't do that.
When I look deep into your eyes.
I might just message them again, and I'm like, well, what's your favorite color or the person's favorite color that you're buying this for? Or what's the color theme of the room that it's gonna be in? Stuff like that. Yeah, you have to give me something. Good thing I did, because like I default to red, like the red check border and stuff. And apparently the person hated red. Even just one color. Yes. But yeah, I default to red for chicken clothes if like they're not for anybody specific. Because yeah. And like I said, it's a good thing I didn't, because the person it was for hates them. So I got permission for the bottles and stuff to be red because chickens. But everything else had to be different colors. So no red chickens now. Or red feathers or anything. Yeah. What's chicken related decor is red and green. Exactly. What order you got? There were so many typers, couldn't decipher it, so you gave them 48 hours and they didn't. Yeah. The typers the next day, good. Yeah, like a faded blue would have gone good, but they picked teal, and I was okay with teal because I like the color teal too. And it turned out good. And then, like, I even asked them, like, I normally use satin for the bias tape around the quilt, right? Is that okay? And they're like, yeah, that's fine. They left a 4-star review, I think. Maybe it was a 5-star. You just subbed? What, Jay? Why did it not go off? Twitch, stop being twitchy. Appreciate it. They said sorry. Aw. Yeah, if you can't read it, that's fine. But yeah, so they left a... Well, before I even shipped it. Before I shipped it, there's... Well... I'm like... Twitch me twitchy! Like, really bad. No. Before I shipped the quilt, like, I was almost done with it, and I was sending a message. And, so I sent him a message. I'm like, I'm almost done. I'll ship it in, like, 2 days. Right? Because it was a Saturday. Can't ship on Sundays. Right? So the next day, they messaged me, and they're like, oh, you changed your shipping time on your posting. I'm like, no, you can't change it on something that was ordered. Right? I think they were just looking for something to complain about, because in the end, they left, I think, a 4-star review. And they're like, yeah, it took longer than we thought, but it looks good. But also, we had to cut a lot of threads, and we also had to finish sewing the bias tape on. I'm like, nah, I triple checked that. That was done. I think they just wanted something to complain about. I think that they were trying to get at least a partial refund also. Because Etsy kind of reached out to me. I'm like, no, everything was perfect, and I sent pictures. I did take pictures of the whole thing and everything, so I had proof that it was completed and fully. Yeah, it's not gonna ship in a day. And I put 6 to 8 weeks. And I shipped it after 6. Or, yeah, I shipped it right at 6. Or, like, a couple days after 6 weeks. So it's not like it took all 8 weeks. Or rude. Yeah, I try to. Like, there's a couple things that I would never make ever again. But I should take pictures of everything. Started now. Yay! No. No. This is Buttons, everybody. He's a big boy, but he thinks he needs to be needy today. I'm not letting him be needy. Keeps moving stuff. I thought he was up here again. Nope, that's Snaps. Snaps is sleeping where Snaps sleeps all day. But whenever I stream. Oh, really? I feel that. Mine's at 10:30 when mine stops. Whether it's on charge or not. Seven stitches left in that cup.
About to see the world in action, what we can be, life with no distractions, we'll get away, this is what we waited for. Take my hand, we'll make it somehow, we can't miss out.
At the store today, just walked into the kitchen to cook and see 5 things you need. Of course. That's how it always works. Okay, you guys a little quieter out there, because if I can hear you, your father can. Like yesterday, I didn't even think about grabbing milk for the kids, and I'm just glad that we have enough for the. Like the ultimate mood.
Call me, tell me I'm alive, pull me, fill me up inside here, in the silence of the space we all.
So this isn't a full, like, 800 stitches. Over here, there's nothing, almost nothing over here. Playing pain would stop 2 weeks. Ooh. Think having fiber pain would be no big deal. Sometimes new pain. Yep. I understand that. Like, not for the fibro part, but like when you have a constant pain and then something new happens. Yep. Oh, I should have tied that off. Oh, that's horrible. Yeah. Insurance is weird. Like, why do they only, like, allow certain things? Like, some people cannot live without certain medication. And they cost an arm and a leg and then some. Arm, leg, firstborn child. All 4 I'm joking. At a point, you're starting to consider possibly a mobility scooter type thing, using the ones in stores. Yeah. No, don't be embarrassed. Just don't be embarrassed. Because you honestly fall into the category that you need one for physical movement. What I don't like is when people that don't need one use one. And then that makes people that need them. If they make you lose your job, then you will not have insurance, so they will not have to pay for it, right? Proof. Then you get government help and you don't pay anything. And it just is expensive. Yeah, I don't blame you. And honestly, if people look at you weird or like, you know, that judgmental tone, just ignore them. I know it's easier said than done. But like, it's not worth fretting over. But honestly, if you're in pain, you do what you gotta do. Not have to live like that if there's things that can help you. Yeah, it's insane. Like, I remember when my first year at the job I have, right? Pregnant with peanut butter cup. And I had to go, obviously, out for 6 weeks. Like, I didn't take any longer because I knew I couldn't afford it, right? I actually had to pay the full health insurance payment, right? For a 2-week period, and that was insane. basically because my boss messed up and didn't just pay me for half the time for 2 weeks. Which would have been perfectly fine. I would have been able to get by on that. I mean, thankfully, I didn't go without insurance for the 2, but at the same time, could have been done differently.
Quiet voices in the night,
Like, for family coverage, it's even worse.
out of sight. A lonely wind is passing by, tries to carry all the whispers that it finds. The walls are listening when we talk, making echoes.
Okay, what's up with all the cats coming over?
There's no one left.
Like, Bean's on his way over now.
It's like a made-up place that only we can see. Hold my hand and hear the words I say. Close your eyes and let us fade away. Till the secret place.
Like, fine, I'll walk away. It's alright, Bean. I would let you up here.
Let our minds be caught up in a dream.
Okay, but right? They do know it. That's the thing. They all know. It's funny.
Standing underneath the lights, look into each other's eyes. There's no one left
Oh, wait.
but you and me.
Bean,
It's like a made-up
what is
place that
doing?
only we can see.
Bean is making weird noise. Did you broke? That's alright. Don't do it. You no longer do bits. I don't blame you.
How many smiles does it take to be happy? How many times do you have to feel lonely before you get the chance to meet someone? Before you get to meet someone like you?
Even the best steal for bits is insane.
How many
Alyssa!
can you write a
Thank you.
song
Oh, hold on.
like?
Hold
How
on, kitty cat. Let me move stuff.
when you fed
Perhaps is like, okay, I'll back up.
Maybe
I got you.
just found the answers. Maybe I just found the answers
Okay, come on.
for you.
Perhaps.
Come give
Come on.
me all your love.
He's like, fine, no. I'm not coming over. Coming over. Okay, here's Java. Slowly leading him over. Here comes Snap. Heck yeah. Come on, Snaps. Not Snaps knocking things off my table. Or not Java knocking things over. Right? Okay.
Take me away. I'm okay if I got you.
Awesome.
Don't have
Oh, I appreciate you hanging out, and thank you again for that follow.
to. Just give
And okay,
me your heart.
it was we went on Meowie. Okay, this is Button. Snaps was just here. They look alike. Buttons was in denial. Meowie says Buttons is the father. Right? Now let me see if I can't get. Oh, he's right.
Just come give me all your love.
Bean.
I want you to know we can make
I'm gonna have to buy more trees.
let the wind blow. All we need is each other.
Oh yeah, you stole that one, huh? Oh gosh, that's my finger. You're vicious today. that far. Let's see, it's Jack. Growling at me. He just growled. Totally. He's like, don't touch me, but I want treat. Yeah, we got all 5 cats. This. Oh, stop being mean. Get doggo treats. There you go. I'm back. You forgot some. Did you get them all? Thank you. Phil. She totally slobbered on my hand after. Oh, Melissa, thank you for those bits for the animals. They do appreciate it. Fighting out of my chair. Cat. No, dog slobber. Yeah. I don't know what's worse. Honestly, I think cat slobbers. Just because you don't expect it. Chopping veggies, yes. Currently sacked out. Aw. I think it's funny that, you know, somebody always wants treats, Jack. But she always growls at me like, Jack, you can't have it both ways. But it's funny every time. See, this coming week, just a reminder, I know I keep saying it, no stream on Tuesday. Child has senior night at track and field, so it's a home meet, and I go to all the home meets. Dude, go get another cough drop instead of hacking out there. Child's coughing up a storm out there. Hi, Black Rose. How are you? I hope all's well in your corner of the world.
To fall back into